Ambassador Michael Froman, U.S. Trade Representative, Mr. Miles Young, Chairman, U.S.-Pakistan Business Council, Mr. Mylan Brilliant, Executive Vice President and Head of International Affairs, U.S. Chamber of Commerce, Mr. S.P. Jalalian, President, U.S.-Pakistan Business Council, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinct pleasure to be among the leading U.S. businessmen, executives, bankers, and industry leaders this afternoon at the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. The U.S. Chamber of Commerce is the symbol of American enterprise and dynamism and has been a trusted partner of Pakistan through the U.S.-Pakistan Business Council. The Chamber has been promoting business-to-business collaboration between the two sides over the years. In this regard, I would like to particularly thank Chairman Miles Young and Executive Director S.P. Jalalian for their commendable efforts in promoting trade, economic, and business relations between Pakistan and the U.S. Ladies and gentlemen, I had the privilege of interacting with your council in October 2013, soon after being elected to office. You might recall that I had outlined my government's economic goals and objectives during that interaction. Today, I would like to highlight how Pakistan has emerged as an attractive and thriving market for business and investment opportunities since the last time I had spoken to this chamber. I am happy to share that Pakistan has greatly improved its internal security situation, as well as achieved effective governance and public service delivery, resulting in robust economic indicators in a short span of time. We have made a strategic choice to take on terrorists of all hues and colors through a comprehensive strategy involving stringent law enforcement measures as well as targeted military operation. As a result of these concerted national efforts, we have seen a marked improvement in the internal security situation in Pakistan, with the current year witnessing the lowest number of terrorist attacks since 2007. We are confident that the improved security situation in Pakistan would lead to withdrawal of travel advisories on Pakistan. Ladies and gentlemen, Pakistan's economic upturn is being noted worldwide. Leading international publications, fund managers, and rating agencies have acknowledged the outstanding economic performance of Pakistan. Bloomberg has described Pakistan as the best undiscovered frontier market. Morgan Stanley's vice president has predicted that the rise of Pakistan is only a matter of time on account of its strategic location and demographic dividends. Moody's has upgraded Pakistan from CAA1 to B-, while Standard & Poor's have improved our outlook to positive. On the other hand, Fitch has given a rating of B to Pakistan. All these positive assessments have been made on the back of a major turnaround in Pakistan's economy. The GDP has grown by 4.24% in the fiscal year 2015, which is the highest in the last 7 years. Inflation was at 4.6% in the same year, and in the first quarter of the current fiscal year, it is less than 2%. The per capita income has risen by 12.9% in the first 2 years of our government. Our budget deficit has been brought down from 8.2% to 5.3% in the same period. During this period, tax revenues have increased by about 33% due to measures aimed at tax net broadening and removal of exemptions. Another notable achievement is the rebuilding of the country's foreign exchange. This has led to exchange rate stability. We will continue to take steps to further strengthen these economic gains. Overcoming energy shortages remains the topmost priority for my government. We have evolved a comprehensive strategy geared towards overcoming the energy problem on a sustainable basis. Our goal is to overcome energy shortages by 2017. Ladies and gentlemen, Pakistan is among the few places in the world that offer the promise of land, geography, and people all at the same time. Increased urbanization, favorable demographics, growing middle class, and economically empowered women and youth are the recognized drivers of growth. Pakistan has all these. Pakistan is one of the most attractive investment regimes in the world, allowing foreign investors 100% repatriation of profits and easy convertibility into foreign exchange. Numerous investment opportunities are available in the energy, consumer goods, food and agriculture, housing, healthcare, education, finance services, capital markets, information technology, oil and gas, and infrastructure sectors of Pakistan. We have also enacted the Special Economic Zone Act, which provides numerous investment incentives. My government, ladies and gentlemen, would like the private sector to flourish and provide the best possible services to the people of Pakistan. With this objective, we restarted the privatization program in 2013, which aims to improve the efficiency and service provision of the public sector enterprises. The privatization program offers a range of public sector enterprises for sale in the oil and gas, power and financial sectors through capital market transitions and other modes. Out of 40 such public sector enterprises, shares of 3 enterprises, namely United Bank Limited, Pakistan Petroleum Limited, and Allied Bank Limited, have already been divested, while work on the rest is being pursued vigorously. Furthermore, the government has also successfully auctioned spectrum licenses for 3G and 4G for mobile networks through a transparent and competitive process. Ladies and gentlemen, no region has lagged as far behind in the world today as South Asia. To lift our people out of poverty, we must first of all establish peace in the region. Pakistan therefore seeks good relations with all its neighbors. I firmly believe that shared prosperity is real prosperity. We cannot maintain peace within unless there is peace without. This is what underpins my approach to a peaceful and friendly neighborhood. One of the key pillars of my government's foreign policy is to support and encourage greater regional integration and connectivity. This is where we have our biggest opportunities to reap the dividends of peace for the common good of our people. Indeed, the most promising element of this policy is the recently launched China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, which is a fusion of several development and connectivity initiatives, focusing on infrastructure, energy, Gwadar Port, and industrial cooperation. The multi-billion-dollar project will spur regional economic integration and bring prosperity to the entire region and beyond. And at the same time, Pakistan is also working on other regional energy and connectivity projects, including TAPI, which means Turkmenistan, Afghanistan, Pakistan, India, gas pipeline project. And then CASA, which is Central Asia, South Asia, which will produce about 1,000 megawatts, and it's an electricity project. Turkham Jalalabad Road and Kunar Power Project. Our recent decision to accede to TIR Convention is another manifestation of our resolve towards spurring connectivity and enhanced trade in the region. We also remain committed to the full implementation of the Afghan-Pakistan Transit Trade Agreement. We are willing to expand its coverage to include other Central Asian states. Ladies and gentlemen, the United States remains one of the most important economic and trading partners of Pakistan. Major US companies have invested billions of dollars in Pakistan. The US also remains a major destination for Pakistani exports. Pakistan will continue to encourage active investment of US companies in Pakistan, especially in the backdrop of our recent economic achievements. At the same time, I would like to reiterate the need for greater market access for Pakistani products in the US markets for the mutual benefit of our economies. We expect that the US-Pakistan Business Council will continue to play its positive role towards this end. I thank you.